Yo people, welcome to another video of CMDAV, and today is a special video. We're doing the Lorraine Donnegan video, and this is the first video that we're doing that's not a student or a teacher at Waterloo Road. As we know, Lorraine is the benefactor of the new Waterloo Road. As you guys probably gathered, I love the feedback. I love people commenting and just telling me what they want to see, and from this video you can already tell that I got some inspiration from the Insta channel Lorraine Multi, so check that out. And I commented saying that I might need to make a Lorraine video, and I got some nice comments saying that that's what they want to see, so obviously I'm going to give it to them, innit? It also made me realize that I don't actually shout out my Instagram, so my Instagram is CMDAV0. It's going to be there. Make sure you follow me. You see some videos, you see some posts here and there. You also see some Arsenal matches that I go to, you know. But yeah, it's a bit of different content, innit? So let me know. You can message me there, chat to me, tell me what you want to see, and more times I will make it happen. Let's get into the vid. We first see Lorraine in season 7 episode 8. She comes into the school with a good entrance to the character. She's got that confidence and that spark of someone who's happy with their life. She's speaking to Janice on the phone, and it's revealed that she was actually in the building trying to get a meeting with Michael. She meets Sean for the first time, and Michael explains that he used to teach her. From her entrance coming out of the car and with her confidence and her spark, you could tell that she's got some money with her. But as she tells Michael that she sold her company for 75 million, you can really tell that she's rich. Later at dinner, she tells Michael that she's planning to set up a school in Glasgow near one of her other business ventures, and I quote, to inspire the next generation, and she's planning to open an independent school without fees, striving for the best, and she tells Michael she wants the best to be running it, being him. She goes on to tell him that the task he's attempting at Waterloo Road is impossible. He declines and says that because he started something, he wants to finish it. Lorraine returns in episode 29 for a workshop on encouraging the students to sell themselves. She comes across Cal, who's been kicked out, and he realizes that she's actually rich. He also says that his surname is Roberts. Cal takes her card slyly without her seeing, but she actually does see, and she acts natural, and they carry on a conversation. When Michael comes in, he gets spat on, but he retrieves her card and removes Cal from the school. She sees Cal later loitering outside the school gates. She tells Cal that he's lost and he has the whole world, and he's just loitering with intent. She later tries to convince Michael again, saying that the system's broken and the problems are too much for him to win this one. She says he will be provided with all the resources necessary so that Cal is the last person he will ever exclude, and they can make a real difference. At the end of the episode, Michael has been told that the school is going to be closed and there's nothing he can do about it. He then goes on to give Lorraine a call, which makes us assume that he is in for her plan to go to Scotland for the new Waterloo Road. In the last episode of season 7, episode 30, he tells the staff that they can come to Scotland with him and Lorraine. Lorraine meets the staff, and then she tells them about the plans to open the school. It's so obvious that she does her homework on the staff, as she talks about Tom going the extra mile for the kids, Matt for his enthusiasm, and Sean for the tenacity and ambition for the school. In season 8, episode 1, Lorraine argues for Drew to enroll to the new Waterloo Road on the first day. Michael says, look, me headmaster, you hands-off sponsor, remember? Some foreshadowing there. She wins him over and Drew gets a trial day. So this is kind of like foreshadowing. He wants to make the decisions. That's what he was promised, and she kind of already stepped in, kind of making the decisions for him. But when we come into the later parts of season 8, we see more of this and more assertiveness from Lorraine. So she's saying, this is my school, it's my money, so we're going to run it the way I want, rather than the way she promised Michael at the start. At the assembly, she makes her grand entrance from the back, praising Michael as the best head in the country and telling the kids to work hard. In episode 3, the Havelock head teacher finds out about Michael's past and puts the newspaper article around the school because he left his dad for dead. Lorraine finds out and is furious because of how much damage it could have done to the school. Michael says that he can turn it around, saying that it shows that he's changed as a person, and Lorraine likes this and says that this twist can be used in the press release, which Michael scoffs about. In episode 8, Lorraine has a bench competition. She gives Morag the prize of the university fees paid and then provides an extra £1,000 cash. Tom tells Michael and Lorraine that he helped Morag build the bench, and Lorraine gets annoyed. She tells him not to play Good Samaritan on her time, and she doesn't like to be looked like a fool. Lorraine is told by Michael that they need to communicate more, but she brushes it off, saying that none of them would be there if she quit at the first second. That's basically her saying that she learned from her mistakes because of the way she dealt with Morag and her dad's concerns of Lorraine splashing out the money. When I was rewatching it, that was one of the funniest episodes, I think. I think it's a quite underrated episode as well. No one really talks about it. Lots of things were going on, and the way Morag's dad was just so annoying, but he was still a good character. I like the character, especially when he was throwing the money around as well. It reminded me of in season 10 when Darren's money got thrown around as well, so it's kind of similar to that, but I feel Darren's one was even better because of Justin and Floyd fighting. In episode 9, we're introduced to Sonya and Lorraine tells her to keep it cool. When talking to Lula, Sonya admits that Lorraine is her sister. Michael confronts her about Sonya being a spy, but Lorraine dismisses it and says she detests nepotism as the reason to why she's never given Sonya a job. In the final episode of the first part of Season 8, Lorraine makes a difficult decision whereby she is looking to kick out some of the students which are not attaining to the correct level as they should be with their peer groups. This means that she's looking to kick out students like Scout, Phoenix and Rhiannon. Michael's found an alternative so these students can still stay at Waterloo Road and they don't have to leave, but Lorraine thinks it's too expensive and she doesn't want to cater for it. Tariq has a leaving party where he talks about family and that he would be dead if Waterloo Road didn't stick by him. He was basically speaking about how Waterloo Road changed his life and now how he's going on to become an athlete. From what Michael and Tariq said, Lorraine is now convinced. When she gives her speech, she talks about education being a right and not a gift and facilitating the right to it. She announces that they have finalised plans for an on-site pupil referral unit so that underachievers can still achieve and get the chance to get that education. For me, Lorraine's a very stubborn character, so when she says something, she sticks to it and that's the end of it. But when she sometimes listens and then takes it in and listens to what other people are saying as well, sometimes she looks at the bigger picture. And for example, with her, if Michael didn't carry on helping her, she wouldn't be the millionaire that she is today. So it's the same way that she wants to kind of help them with the PRU to make sure that they get the education and they can become great things as well. In episode 13, Lorraine's car is stolen by Barry, but because Nikki's car was stolen and she thought it was Scout, she had Lorraine get the police to question her. In episode 16, after Bolton's visit, Lorraine decides that the PRU should be closed because Barry took the gun and anyone else would have handed in the gun. In episode 17, Nikki and Lorraine first show some signs of chemistry after the PRU presentation. In episode 20, a scene between Nikki and Lorraine is quickly tensed by the possibility of a kiss. It is then Nikki that breaks the ice by asking Lorraine for a drink. Before Lorraine could even answer, Nikki apologizes and says it was just a thought and then leaves, and Lorraine is just there, standing there shocked. In episode 21, we first see Lorraine driving Nikki to work. This shows how the two have become very close over the Easter break. With Sean gone, they need a new deputy, and Lorraine announces to Michael that Nikki will be the new deputy head teacher. Michael is obviously annoyed because he feels that Lorraine should not be able to go over his head and make decisions about who is going to be the deputy head teacher. Michael argues that he needs Nikki in the PRU because people like Scout would not have gone to university if it was not for the PRU. Lorraine responds by saying that they could argue about it all day, but at the end of the day it's her school. Seems a bit like foreshadowing there. Later on, Lorraine confides in Nikki that the school is losing money and she has to cut her losses. Lorraine approaches Nikki explaining that she has great plans for the school and those plans include Nikki. Lorraine then kisses Nikki as the episode concludes. In episode 22, Lorraine tells Michael about big changes coming in the way they operate. She says 30% of the running costs need to be cut from her accountant. This episode covers Maggie with her catering contract, and Lorraine is happy that it's 20% less than the previous year. Lorraine hopes Michael can understand that this is the way forward. There's a clear theme of how Lorraine's trying to run the school in the final part of season 8. The fact that she listened to her accountant and the fact that she says that it's her school. Compared to the first part of season 8, it shows that it's very, very different and how she's becoming more assertive based on how she sees things in the bigger picture. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct, but her view in it. As you probably guessed it, Lorraine is back with her cutting. In episode 23, she opens an IT lab but is attempting to reduce staff expenditure by 20% and asks if anyone would want to take voluntary redundancies. She told the staff that they need at least 20 people signed up for A-levels for it to be on the curriculum. When the subjects got these requirements, Audrey, Christine and Michael were happy, whilst Lorraine was angry as she felt that she was fighting half her staff whilst trying to keep the school open because she wanted everyone in the same direction. In episode 24, Sonya lets slip that Lorraine and Nikki are in a relationship. This leads to Lorraine ending it with Nikki, her reason being that Michael knows and she doesn't want to be a hypocrite as she's been preaching a lot to Michael about his relationship with Christine. Nikki later tells Lorraine she was being too strict with the timetables and is going to ease it because she was trying to impress Lorraine. Lorraine tells Nikki she's not good with emotions and doesn't know how to process them. She was about to ask her to give her another chance, but Nikki stops her and she says she's not putting her heart on the line so Lorraine can practice being a human being. In the next episode, Lorraine tells Michael that staff salaries are 90% of the budget and they simply can't afford it. Christine has a job opportunity at Havelock, but she is planning not to replace her job. Lula starts to become vocally passionate about animal rights. Esther tells her that the biggest investor in Knox Pharmaceutical is Lorraine. This is the same business venture that she mentioned back in season 7. Lorraine is portrayed for the cause for all the suffering and torture of the animals. In episode 29, Lula alongside Harley, Casey and Jack protest outside Knott's Pharmaceuticals. She then writes messages in an envelope and puts it on the employees' cars. Lorraine makes a final decision to close the PRU because she can't afford it, and she then tells Michael that the most sensible way to save the school is through making it fee-paying. They start to argue and Michael asks how do we get to this, whilst Lorraine replies there's no other way. She insists that it's either this or no school, whilst Michael says that parents who can't afford it want the best for their kids too, and Lorraine forgets where she came from. She says, what are you going to do? And he says he can't do anything because he's facing a woman who's turned her back on all her principles. She repeats the question and Michael then says that he quits, and she accepts his resignation. Lorraine then looks to appoint Nikki as the new head teacher, and Nikki accepts it. Christine is not having it, but Nikki doesn't back down. Lorraine backs her, saying that she thinks that she handled the pressure well, and now they're sitting in the office and it looks like there's some chemistry. They're sitting down on the table and it looks like there's about to be a kiss happening, but none of that happens, but you can still see the sparks there. In episode 27, Lorraine is furious with Luna because she believes Knox Pharmaceutical are criminals, but Lorraine tells her to change her record. Nikki doesn't know what her punishment will be, and Lorraine gives her one dirty look, thinking that this woman does not know what she's doing in this position as a head teacher. When Lula's out the room, Lorraine says Nikki is being too soft, as Lorraine believes that Lula needs to be kicked out or suspended. Lorraine introduces Nikki as the new head teacher, and Nikki gets clowned when Christine tells the rest of the staff that Lorraine is planning to charge fees. They're against Lorraine's plans and they go on strike. When Lula and George get into a scuffle, George tells Nikki to do her job and Lorraine agrees, saying that he has a point, and asks why Lula is still at Waterloo Road, as obviously earlier she could have done something like suspended her or kicked her out, but she didn't do either of them. So the final episode of Lorraine Donnegan, episode 28 of season 8. Some backstory: Michael went behind Lorraine's back to give the local council Waterloo Road. In this episode, Lorraine finds out that Michael was trying to get the council to take Waterloo Road. She feels that Nikki's the only one supporting her, but even Nikki puts her in her place, and she says that she's not against Michael. Nikki tells Lorraine that they're as bad as each other. Michael shows Lorraine a picture of the newspaper when they first opened the school, saying that they did that. He shows different people who weren't able to pay for Waterloo Road if it was private: Tariq, Scout, Kevin, Liberty, Phoenix and Jade. And then he finally shows Lorraine when she was 15, and then he pleads with her, saying, let our kids keep their school. Regardless of everything Michael said, Lorraine goes along with her plan. She sets up an emergency staff meeting and she says that from tomorrow this is no longer Waterloo Road but the Lorraine Donnegan Institute of Excellence. What a name. She tells them to either sign up or collect their P45s. She gets a call about a sabotage at Knox. She knows it was Lula behind it even though she wasn't allowed to go. She finds Lula and pushes her against the wall. Lula denies everything. Lorraine says she put her heart and soul into Waterloo Road for the likes of Lula to throw it back in her face. She tells her she wants her out of her school and she will be increasing her shares. At this point, Lula is vexed differently. She goes into the chemistry equipment cupboard and she takes sulfuric acid. Esther realizes that the acid is missing and goes after Lula. Lula nearly uses the acid on Lorraine before Esther stops her and gets injured in the process. Lorraine finally comes around and she tells Michael to call Robert to make a deal. In the school assembly, Lorraine announces that she will continue to fund the schoolhouse because she wants to, and she knows that the local authority will not fund the schoolhouse. The last scene with Lorraine and Michael is quite deep. She asks, were we a success? And Michael responds that they built this place from nothing and the kids have a safe place to learn from. They say their goodbyes and then that's the last time we see Lorraine Donnegan in Waterloo Road. For now anyways. Waterloo Road love using people again and again. This is like the third character that I've done a video of where they were actually another character earlier on in the season before they had the actual character which I'm talking about today. So with L. Kelly, Lorraine and Tariq as well. Before we knew Lorraine Donnegan, we knew Jem Allen in season 4 episode 16 when she came in as a supply teacher. That is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe of course. If you like the video, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. Just let me know what you want to see next and I'll make it happen. You already know I do. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Peace.